Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Viva Cafe con Leche. I am the badass Buddha, Lori Monaco. Welcome. Happy Tuesday. We hope you had an absolutely beautiful weekend, and we are here in the last week of July with you, ending our potentials and possibilities month. So today and Thursday are going to be some powerful days. Good morning, my beautiful co-host.
Good morning. You know, when I read that today was the last day of the possibilities and potential.
Last 2 days.
Yeah, and that kind of made me sad. Like, did we do enough? Did we speak on it enough? Did we share enough? Have we learned enough? Because it felt like, hola milagro, ¿cómo está, mi amor? That we did not.
I mean,
we ran out of time. I want to say we were on time. We still have time, but I feel like we ran out of time, or the time got ahead of us. Se nos fue de la mano, in other words. So I don't know. That's my take on it. Buenos días, mi gente.
Well, you're right. You're right. It's the month just flew by, you know, and we're already starting August. I mean, I remember when we were having conversations and it was like May, and we were talking about the upcoming quarter, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And it's like, you know, when I was in Spain, we met up with this crew, and it was all Catholics from Dublin, with the priest guiding them. They came every year, but there was a mixture of Ireland guys, and there was this one Spaniard. And every time we saw them at a cafe or we turned the corner from a pub, they were always in there drinking, like the leaders of the bear, including the priest. And one day the Spanish guy was talking to us, and he was saying how they didn't realize one day how they drank and drank and drank and drank until they got the bill. And that was where I got that refrán, because he said, se nos fue de la mano, meaning we went overboard, or we let ourselves get. It was just a refrán that I think we need to remind ourselves of when we do something in excess or not enough, or our timing is off, and we run out of time to fulfill possibilities and everything. Se nos fue de la mano. We allowed it to escape through our hands. So good morning. Where are you?
I am in Eastern Tennessee still. I'm going to be here for a bit longer. So, we're enjoying, got a lot of work to do on the property and so on and so forth. So, and it's been like long nights and so on and so forth. So it's been challenging, but fun at the same time.
Has it?
Yeah, it has.
But challenging in a way that you're like, bring it, bitch, or oh my God, what, I gotta adjust to this.
No. I mean, I love doing like work on the yard. I love doing like work on a house, you know. So I like that kind of stuff. So physically challenging, a little mentally challenging, because you have to like think things through sometimes. Not so much mentally, but physically. But I like that. Like, to me, I can do that all day long, and even though it's exhausting, it's much more rewarding. Like going to a gym to work out, or hauling a big like branch that you cut down from from the tree to like a pile. I mean, I'd much rather do stuff like that.
Yeah, because
so you feel fulfilled. You feel like you've accomplished a lot.
Well, you do, because you're working your whole mind, body, spirit, soul. People think manual labor is for the lowborns. If anything, I think that's for the super highly intelligent, brilliant. Everything comes in to play when you work with this. Sitting at it anyway. I'm glad for you. because you've always said how that always enhance your next step, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
All right. Did you have a nice weekend, Gladiator Guru?
Today's Tuesday. Yes. Yes.
Good.
Again, getting things together where you work manually, I was more burning brain cells. Um, and I think there was one time during this weekend where I lit them on both sides, and then I was just exhausted. Um, but yeah, it's just putting a lot into perspective. You know, when we sit down and we say, okay, I got to do this, and then I'm always walking with my notepad, and then you go to writing, and then you go to doing a whole bunch of stuff. It is mentally and emotionally exhausting, but you can't give up, right? You just got to say, okay, let me just take a quarter of this and work on this. So that's what I've been doing. But other than that, I'm still in Connecticut, um, enjoying the weather. I love the cool breeze in the morning and the coolness in the evening. I forgot that about my home, that there was always a little gift on both ends.
Hey,
We
listen, keep talking because there's something I gotta fix. So
okay.
just okay.
And so I think when you learn yourself enough, mi gente, I'm trying to get this light on because I have blinds open. The sun decided to hide. I have overhead light, which I don't like, but what you're gonna do? Um, Sometimes we just say, "I'll do it later. I'll do it later," but that momentum that like ignites that energy and that oomph within you to do something, se te vas. And so then we're like left with, damn, I should have did it, or I'm gonna have to finish this and then go and do that. And sometimes it's like for me with food. Like when I go out with people, I say, listen, I eat fast because if there's one thing I do not like is cold food. I'm not gonna sit here having a conversation with somebody trying to be polite and my food's gonna get cold, especially when I'm hungry. So that's how we have to um, handle life and the opportunities that are on that conveyor belt going by us. Not every single idea is for you. Sometimes you get this idea, this rush of idea, but you're displaced from it because you learned over time who you are, and you know that idea came to you but not for you. And that's when you share it with the first person that comes to mind, I think, energy wise. And then you know that gift was brought for that person. So it's timing. And we have to learn how to prioritize the me. We always, somebody calls, what are you doing? Let's say today, you say, okay, yesterday I did blah, 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 and I can't do anything else until Thursday. So today, I'm just going to stay in my pajamas and really just relax my body, relax my mind. I'm either going to read a book, I'm going to write, or I'm going to watch Netflix, because who dares judge anyone who Netflix and chills? I think you can learn so much from different shows, whether the comedies, dramas, horror. No, because the horrors of life we already know exist. But what I'm saying is, when we procrastinate, I don't want to say that self-sabotaging, but when we procrastinate, and you're a procrastinator, one day when you're not in that state of lethargy, sit down and write, what were you doing? And then the procrastination set in. And because the procrastination set in, what did you forfeit in your life? What did you throw away that's not going to make its way back around to you? See, I'm constantly saying that life is short, but it is the longest journey you will travel, because it is the only journey that you can do completely. You got to walk this life, the good, the bad, the ugly. And so if we are not seeing the potentials that we have for ourselves, and we're constantly throwing it away or giving it away. And then we're in that same cycle. And the question should always be, ¿y yo qué? What about me? And fuck society, who has trained you to believe that that is selfish, self-centered conceitedness. That is persevering your health for the events where you have to roll up the sleeves and get down and dirty. See, one thing about the badass Buddha that I love is she's so quick and so ready to roll up her sleeves and go dig her hands in the dirt and repot stuff and organize the setting to plant the flowers in or to trim them back. Many, many, many trainings, many meetings on setting up the month for Viva were done while she's setting her back. And I'm seeing all the stuff that she just got finished doing. And so it doesn't matter where you live, find out what you like and then set about doing it. And it could be just as simple if you only have a little patch the size of a tile in your kitchen that's grass. Plant something beautiful, so that every time you walk in and out of your house, you're going to see the fruits of your labor, because that was taking time out for you, so that then you can believe every time you look at it, I did that. And all that does is reassures you that you really can do anything you set your mind to do. And good morning, everybody who came on while I was talking, because, when she's not on, this lady right here, I keep talking. So Carmen Nieves, Carmencita, Tiffany Bryan. It's always good to see you. Go ahead, badass.
Well, let's get going and do the our mantra and set our intention, and let's get to talking. All right. So I'm like hearing all kinds of noises in the background. I'm like, do I close the door? Do I not close the door? Okay. Let's set our intention. Remember on Viva Cafe con Leche, be intentional with your day. Have a purpose to your day. Set it to whatever you would like it to be. Set it now, set it after the show, and set it multiple times if you need to, but go with purpose and
gratitude. Because you can have the best idea for yourself, and if you got the nastiest mood, you ain't going nowhere. Siéntate que pa' allá no va. I'm very bilingual today, and I'm loving it.
You are.
I'm intentionally grateful with your life. Let's start off with your day. If you don't know what that is, look it up. Send us a note. Sometimes words seems like the Berlin Wall. Remember that bitch too came down. So let's just focus on being the best version of you day by day. Go ahead. Mantra time.
Mantra time. Here we go. Say it loud. Say it proud. I am a disruptor.
I am a disruptor.
I am unapologetically courageous.
I am unapologetically courageous.
I am spiritually grounded.
I am spiritually grounded.
I am magically orgasmic.
Ole.
And I keep it real.
All day, no doubt.
All right. So this is the last week for Potentials and Possibilities month. And then next month, we are into taking action. So we gave you a lot of work to do. We wanted you to really look at yourself and see what you believe your potentials are, what you believe your possibilities are, what's holding you back, what excuses is it that you're using. And we want you to move forward and like face these. And then this is the week. Today starts seeing beyond what you see. And then on Thursday, it's very similar. It's just saying, what do you see now? So we're going to challenge you again to see beyond what you see, to look beyond, hear beyond, feel beyond. And then on Thursday, we're going to look at the new picture. And then we're going to go forward in August by taking action on that new picture. What does that new picture look like to you? So let's talk about the possibilities. Today is seeing beyond what you see. So in other words, take what you are thinking about, anything that you're excited about, that you're saying, you know, I've always wanted to try this, and see beyond that. Okay, well, I always wanted to go to, let's say, you said I always wanted to learn how to do pottery. Okay, that's the statement. That's the possibility. That's the potential. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to get out a piece of paper and you're going to put down that you are calling a place today. You're going to find one or two places that you can go to that you can learn how to do pottery, and you're going to call and sign up for the class.
Mm-hmm.
So seeing beyond what you see, it's setting it, but then also seeing beyond. Okay, I see that I would love to take a pottery class, but I'm actually signing up for the class and committing to the class. So all those things that you've been sort of keeping track of this month, all the things that you think you want to do and things that you've put off, and all of those things, what can you start doing this week to get you to see beyond just the vision, just the idea of it?
You know, Sunday, I looked up many, but I chose the top three that were conveniently close to where I'm at, and um, had a lot of for new beginners. And finally, I narrowed it down to three. I didn't make any phone calls, but I did narrow it down to three, and they're for my archery classes. And it took me a while because I really want to learn archery, but from a regular bow and arrow. And all these places provide you that black, like
Yeah,
that.
the crossbows. Yeah.
Yeah, the crossbows. And I want, I guess if you learn from that, again, here I am thinking, oh, they're not gonna provide me with what I need because I really want this, not realizing that maybe if I start with the crossbow, it'll be easier with the regular one. So again, I got in my own way, and then finally I just said, I'm gonna pick the three that will serve me at this time. And then, of course, narrow it down to one. But that's what I did on Sunday because that's something I really want to learn is archery. Because uncertain times are coming, so we have to prepare.
My daughter Karaya is certified to teach archery. She can teach you.
Is she?
Yeah, the old school archery. Yeah. It's nice. They're very different. You know, crossbows are actually pretty cool, but it's crossbows more like a gun, you know, and it's like aiming it like a gun. But the archery is the skill set, you know. Well, they're both skillful, I guess. But I agree. So this is the way it works: is that you decide, okay, these are the things that I want to do in my life, or this is what I want to become. What are the things that I must do to get me closer to those, to become that, or to do those things?
Mm-hmm.
So maybe it's just you write down phone numbers, but it's not just about just writing down phone numbers, because if you've gotten to that point already, like you've done that before, well, I've taken down numbers and then they just sit there hanging up. This is, I've got the numbers. Now it's time to make the call, and it's time to actually make the appointment, go to the place, do the thing, so that I see what it's like, to see if, well, what if it's a big thing? What if I'm talking about going away, to, the Camino? Like, let's say I wanted to walk the Camino, and that's going to take a while, and I've got to prepare for that. Do something that's going to put you in that right direction. Like maybe pick the time that you're going to go. So if you say, I'm going to go next year in May, then you block out the time and maybe invest in the money towards the trip. Like not maybe purchase the ticket or anything like that, or maybe you can, but maybe like book something so that it's set. It's like, this is the date. This is it. It's set. I'm here from this time to this time, or open up an account that is exclusively for the money that you're going to put in for that trip. But do something that's going to put you into that direction. Seeing beyond what you see means it's okay. I could see, oh, look at this. I want this in my life. Okay, what's beyond that? What if you have that in your life, or you're doing that? What else is attached to that?
Yes.
What do you see beyond that? Okay, I'll give you an example, right? So here at the house in Tennessee, we had the windows all changed over, and it's a lot of windows, and they're freaking huge. Like there's 15 windows that are I could stand up in, and they're as tall as I am. So when they were being replaced, my sister called me and she said, "Oh yeah, their guys are here replacing." I said, "Oh, you know what? Tell them what are they going to do with the windows when they're done with them?" And she's like, "Well, I guess they're just going to haul them away." I said, "Don't tell them we want to keep them." Now these windows are, we believe, the original windows from the house. This house was built in 1850. So she said to them, "Can you leave the windows?" They said, "Fine." Right now, why would you want? I mean, well, old windows are pretty cool. You can make all kinds of crafts. But when I tell you there was a lot of windows, like there were, because each one is half. So you figure 15 in two, so it's 30 panes of windows,
Mm-hmm.
And I want to build a greenhouse out of them. I've seen this done before. I've seen pictures, and we've been wanting a greenhouse. Like we wanted to actually get a greenhouse for the property. So in my head, I'm like seeing beyond. Okay. Oh, the windows are coming down. Great. We're going to have new windows in the house. They're going to work. They're going to have screens. It's going to be fabulous. What to do with the old ones? Well, they could have sold them. They could have thrown them in a landfill. But let's keep them and then figure out what to do with them. And then wait a minute, that's what we could do with them. There's so many that we could actually make our greenhouse with them. And that's seeing beyond, that's having that idea of saying, okay, then taking the action. Like next month would be, okay, what plans would I need to be able to create that greenhouse? Where would we put it in the yard? What do I need to do to prepare to use all those windows and create this greenhouse? So
Mm-hmm.
seeing beyond, okay, this is what you see. Now see even further than that. If you are booking that trip, if you want to go on that Camino trip, or if you want to just go on a cruise, see beyond that. What is that going to open up for you? Is that going to just be the one-time deal and you go and you spend a lot of money and that's that? Or are you going to say, you know what? I want to go traveling all the time. I want to do solo stuff. I want to do this. I want to do that. That's seeing beyond what you see. It's here's your idea. Now look past that.
Yes. And it's funny you brought up the Camino because that's where most of my time was today. Not today, yesterday, because in the fall I'm doing the Camino again. It'll be my third one, but it's going to be befores and afters and in between. So absolutely right. You got to follow through. Where okay, the first day of the flights are this time, and then it just makes it easy. And hi, Gail. And let me tell you that when you see beyond what you want to do, make sure that um, all around you and behind you, everything is as it should be for you. Don't don't have one foot in and one foot out of something else in your life, and then you're focusing on this because just to keep your mind there, and then you do this, but you're still half-assing it somewhere else. When you come together with you, make sure that you are the best package deal you can possibly be to handle every situation in your life, whether you're sleeping on your sister's couch or you're in Florida. So it's about, are you comfortable with where you're at, because it's on the same path to where you need to be. So when you get to where you need to be, the question is always going to be to yourself, did I put 100% into this, or did I ride somebody else's wave, or did I do it just to get away from something else? Let me tell you, life is you're going to get from point A to point B, and then you're going to look back and it's not going to be fulfilling unless you were 100% available for yourself. Not that your shit had to be 100% intact, but that you were. That every decision you made it because it was from you. Because we've all been there. I've been there where I did it like, oh, okay. And now it's not that I don't care about anything. It's just that I care very much about me. My son asked me a question yesterday, and my first response back, without even thinking about it, then afterwards I laughed, was, I no longer consider myself Captain Saberhole. And he gave me a thumbs up. Why? Because when you have lived a pattern, any pattern, we all are different patches to the quilt. We don't realize what we do until somebody calls us out on it. And then sometimes we get defensive. And
Yes.
we're like, oh no, I'm not like that. Then we get so worked up and upset and bent out of shape that we don't take the time out to console ourselves because that we just got slapped in the face with our truth. So I was like, you know what? It's not that I don't want to help. It's that I want to preserve me. And if I'm going to preserve me, I cannot or no longer put myself on the back burner of my life to make everyone else front row center. And although 10 years of caregiving was a choice I made, it was still 10 years that took from me and led me to believe that my life was to be of servitude only. So we become Captain Saberhole, the
Yeah.
fixer, the consoler, the giving your life coaching sessions away for free because bendito, they really need my help. Who was that serving more? What emptiness? Whose emptiness was that action filling? Maybe my own. So Captain Saberhole also comes with an invisible cape for us because we think that because we dedicated X amount of here, which was a choice, that now we have to be that for all peoples. And that's what we have to persevere. We have to save ourselves for the potentials and possibilities of our lives that we're cheating ourselves. That train keeps coming by and we fail to jump on it because we're over here helping someone else with some bullshit they could be doing themselves, which is learning the mechanisms of self. And we can't teach them that. We can't have them absorb that. They have to do it. And sometimes our enabling keeps them from doing that. And our enabling to others enables us to do shit with our lives because we're too busy helping other people. Am I correct, Badass Buddha? I mean, we didn't get the Badass Buddha and I haven't spoken since Thursday. So we haven't caught up. We haven't talked really about what the show was going to be today, but I think it takes on a life of its own. But I think we must be able to do that. If we're going to do what the Badass Buddha said, then do it fully present in your life. Not one foot in and one foot out of someone else's bullshit. Because someone else is always going to have bullshit, just like we have our own bullshit. Go ahead.
Seeing beyond what you see, I mean, everything that Gladiator Guru it said pertains to that. You know, when we only see what's right in front of us and then we refuse, like the caregiving thing was a necessity. She had that calling, she had to do it. And I've been there too. I didn't do it for 10 years straight, but I had my spurts, you know. I mean, I had my aunt that I was helping for about 10 weeks, my dad for about 2 years. Not full time like Gladiator Guru did, but part time, you know, but it was still enough, you know, enough to where you had to make adjustments to your schedule and so on and so forth. And sometimes we get caught up in what's right in front of us in that moment in time. Like we'll say, well, we're going to do this and we're going to do that. Like Gladiator Guru was fabulous because she still managed to do things even while she was taking care of her mom. We started the show. She was painting purses. She was doing things, but it was all within this realm, you know, like she did within where because she knew she couldn't go far. She knew like physically she couldn't go far. She couldn't wander away because she had that responsibility. So she took what she could and did within that realm. And the beauty is with Gladiator Guru is that once that was taken out, like once her mom passed, it opened up. Once Eric passed, it opened up. And she went and she wandered, you know, she did the Camino both times, you know, she did things. But for the vast majority of people, though, we get caught up in our little bubble. And we what we do is even when the door becomes wide open, We just sit there and we still stay within our bubble. I'll give you a really good example of this, right? So marketing, if you go and buy eggs, you can buy regular eggs, but then you have cage free and then you have free range. And the same thing with chickens, if you buy chicken to eat, right? So let me explain something to you, right? Free range are the most expensive. So people feel better and they go, I'm going to get the cage free because the cage free, they're free. They're free. Let me explain something to you about cage free. Cage free is, according to the USDA, all they have to do is open the door for like 4 hours a day. That's it, 4 hours a day. And what they do is in the first like 4 weeks of the chicken's lives when they're babies, they do not let them out. Like they leave them in the massive chicken coop, right? This massive chicken house. When they get to a certain age, then they open the door. Well, the chickens only know the closed door. When the door opens, they're terrified to go outside. So even though the door opens, they stay within the confines of the chicken house. And then the door closes, right? So they get to put on their marketing cage free. Cage free. So you spend more money thinking these chickens are running free. But these chickens, like I said, the door's only open for a brief period. And because they weren't initially raised with it being that way, they're terrified to go out. That's us sometimes. We're in our own little bubble and we get shit done within our bubble and we go, oh, but I feel accomplished. I'm doing this, I'm doing that. But then the door opens for that whatever amount of time. Sometimes it's a few hours, sometimes it's days, sometimes weeks. And we don't walk outside of the door. And then we say, oh, I should have, could have, would have. I wish I had done that. I should have done that. Why didn't I do that? And then 1 year passes, then 2, then 5, then 7, then 10. Look, we're already entering the 8th month of the year. So for those of you that set any type of goal, any type of New Year's resolution, did you actually make it? Did you actually create it? Did you actually fulfill it? Hi, Black Betty, Yasmer. Well, welcome. But did you actually do it? And if no, the question is, why not? Why not? Was it not important to you? Did you say, oh, I'm going to lose that weight? Because that's the most common thing in the beginning of the year. I'm going to lose that weight. And then after a couple of weeks, when you got disinterested, I'll wait till next year. Why wait till next year? What if by October, the doctor says, well, because your cholesterol is so high and you didn't lose the weight like we had discussed last year, I've got to put you on a couple of meds, one additional and a new one. Okay. And now you're thinking, God, if I had only started that weight loss and kept up with it, and even if I have stopped it in March and then got back to it, you don't have to wait. We put stuff off. This is why you have to see beyond what you see. If you say to yourself, I want to lose weight, you have to say to yourself, why do I want to lose weight?
Mm-hmm.
What's my reasoning? Yeah. And that's what we talked about. It's the who, it's the what, it's the why. What is the bigger picture here? Is it just, okay, so flash forward to October. If you said this in January, flash forward to October, I keep going and I lose the weight. What am I going to look like? What am I going to feel like? Yesterday I was thinking about this and I'm sorry, Gladys, I'm talking a lot, but I was cutting trees, right, in the yard. And I'm talking like big, like the branches. And I'm hauling them up, like dragging them uphill. And you know what I said to myself as I'm dragging them uphill? There were some of them that were a little too heavy, needed to be cut down a little bit, but most of them I was handling. I said to myself, I'm so grateful that I am in good enough shape to be able to drag these trees, these branches to one spot, and then at some point probably chip them up. But when my sister and I were talking, and there was a couple here that was doing handyman work at the house while the husband was, and the wife, who's probably 40, I think she's 40, I'm 53. She could barely get up the steps. We have a flight of steps, and then we have a spiral staircase that goes up to the 3rd floor. This woman was huffing and puffing. She had to sit down. She's 40.
Was
She's
she overweight?
13 years younger than me. Yeah, a little bit, not hugely, a little bit bigger than I am. But weight isn't always
People think
about health,
thank you, badass. Thank you for even talking about the weight loss. What are you doing it for? Hello, Black Betty's my Shamika. Welcome. Because people look at overweight people and the judgment is just ridiculous. So I just wanted to clear that before you go on, because just because you're fat doesn't mean you're unhealthy. Just like people look down on you without knowing what conditions they are. But some people are just, they're thick, not big bone. I don't know about that big bone stuff. They're thick.
Just like Les Brown said, I've never seen a fat skeleton.
Yeah, it's your
big
thick.
Bone.
And and when you embrace that, then you can change it if that is what you want. There's people that, like me, there's people that enjoy the thickness. There's just cultures that the women are thick around the hips, the ass, the thighs, and then they're like small on top. Then there's cultures where women are these big tit, balloons, and they're okay with it. And that's why everything that Viva lives and breathes to teach is to accept yourself where you are, so that then you can fully understand the changes that needs to be made to fully complete you in a way that every step you take, you're going to take it with a smile and a knowing that you are enough. So skinny is a thing. Society, they say Barbie taught women how to be entrepreneurs and all this stuff. To me, I look at her, I see anorexia. I don't know about anybody else, but
I see really good plastic surgeon.
Yeah. So to each its own, like we like to say here. But what I'm saying is, everything the badass Buddha just said, I'm sorry, but it's true. Ask yourself, why? Why do you want to make changes in your life? And make that list. Because sometimes we subconsciously or consciously, foolishly, make changes in our lives because we're following society. We're following influencer here, and we don't know their lives behind, off of their influence of whatever. What is it? Instagram. Know who the hell you are, so that then you can make the changes appropriately. But before you go on, because I don't want to interrupt you, but you did say something, and I want to share something. Because I was going, remember I said on Sunday, I made a list of 3 that are close by. Right now I'm in Connecticut. I don't have a vehicle. So I am looking into stuff, because when I drive my car down at the end of the month, that's a whole different story. So I'm doing the prep work now. Okay, badass? But in the interim, I was having all these thoughts. Like, what am I doing? I'm not feeling restricted, anything. I'm feeling free. I'm flowing. I am just me. You know why? Because I have no walls. I have set up no barriers to my thought process or my actions. And whoever likes it, fine. And whoever doesn't, I don't give a fuck. But in that process of showing all of that to myself and really opening the door to the chicken coop and knowing, hell yeah, I'm going to step outside of it. Because for many years, we were programmed to just continue on inside. That's why they say we imprison ourselves with our thoughts. The cell door has always been open. We just refuse to walk through it.
Right. And what happens when you do? When you decide to walk through that door, guess what happens to everybody behind you? They're like, oh, there's a door? Oh
shit.
Look how nice it is outside. You encourage, you inspire people. You know what I see with you, Gladiator Guru? This is what I love about you. And it really is inspiring to me, is the fact that you're such a traveler and that you have that mindset. My sister's the same way. But for you, I cannot wait to see pictures of you traveling with your grandkids, because that's exactly what's going to happen. You're gonna be doing that with Anaya. You're gonna be doing that with little Henny. You're gonna be doing that with the little one.
No, not her. She don't like me, and I don't like her right now.
Listen, we're talking like 15 years from now. She's going to realize like how badass her grandma is, and she's going to be traveling with you 20 years from now. You know what I mean? And the beauty is that like you could do it all three. Like you could go with your two granddaughters, even though there's such an age difference. That's not going to matter, because you're still going to be that person. You will always be that person. And they will love you for that, because that is like part of them as well. And that's the beauty of it. It's when you said something so beautiful when you said it's like you have to decide what it is that you really want. Enough with everybody else. Really sit and think about what it is that you want. And don't worry about what other people think. Just do it. And you never know how. And I guarantee you that you will be inspiring to other people around you, where they'll be like, oh my God, I've always wanted to do that. And they never either thought of it or they were afraid to. And it's especially because we're the age that we are, when our children or grandchildren or our nieces or nephews look at the stuff that we're doing and going, wow, that is so cool that my mom, my grandmother, my aunt does stuff like that. You know what? If I even thought for a minute that I was afraid, then I'm not going to be anymore.
Well, and that's why people will encourage you not to follow your dreams, or talk like, wow, why would you even do that when you got this to do? They're projecting their fears onto you. So be wise. Okay? It's not even about being smart. Just be wise enough to follow your intuition and know that it is their issue they are pushing onto you. And you got to just say, you know what, I'm sorry you feel that way, or I'm doing it. And let me tell you, after my husband died and I said a month later, I'm off to Spain, you know how many people try to talk me out of it?
Oh, yeah.
And I laughed. And I never had been there. And I laughed. Oh, you're crazy. How are you going to go? And I was, the whole time I walked for 34 days without phone service. I would take pictures of everything I saw. And it wasn't until I was either at a cafe or at a hostel that evening with 50 other people on the Wi-Fi in the middle of nowhere. So, it was that I would post pictures or say something. But I had no phone service. I could have twisted an ankle, but you know what? I walk in faith. And I'm a heathen, but I walk in faith. And that's what I do. I don't let anybody's fears come on to me. You know why? Because I done seen a lot of shit that a child should never have to witness. And then it does two things for you. It victimizes you, or it makes you a motherfucking gladiator. And this is where we're at.
And it's your choice.
That's what I'm saying. It's either or, but you got to choose.
But you're choosing to do it right.
So don't blame nobody. Don't blame nobody. Nobody makes you unhappy. Nobody has hurt you to the point where you are self-paralyzing yourself just to say it was because of so-and-so. It is you. Put your big girl panties on and keep going. And then find a hobby. This is what I want to say. Find a hobby, because healing is a tricky little fucker. And you're going to cry. And you're going to do this. And you might backscale and fall back into the very thing that wounded you. Keep going forward. In Spanish we say ni para atrás para coger impulso. Exactly. You don't go back. You move forward. Maybe you to the left, to the left, to the left, boom, boom, but never backwards. And sometimes in our most vulnerable state of mind, of insecurities, of fear, we tend to go back just because it's comfortable. But don't do that, because you're cheating yourself of the blessings and the divine gifts that God is preparing you for. So you know what? Don't fuck around on yourself. Don't cut the cord on yourself and then cry that someone did this to you. Yeah, that's you. But anyway, this weekend, I'm preparing for a lot. The next chapter in my life is going to be busy. It's going to be venturing into new things that I haven't ventured into. It's going to be where I'm going to be busy and I have to be fully present for myself. So I'm going to show you what I did because I love it. And they're all mine. I'm not selling them. But here are some purses. This is my first one that I did this weekend.
Oh my God. I love that.
Isn't that beautiful? Look at the pearls. Look at the pearls.
Oh my God. Why are you not going to sell it?
Right? Then this is one of my other favorites. It's all graffitied out.
Oh
And it
my
says
God.
peace, the heart. In the heart, it says cry. Because remember, I had to learn how to cry. You know, smile often. Take no shit. Be kind. Love. And the thin line of love is hate. So I had them dripping and they're
Oh,
sparkling
that's
off.
neat.
Isn't that nice? And then this one, I gotta finish her face. But those are the you know
Oh,
the
yeah, the dandelions.
yeah, that's what they are. Why? Because you always make a wish for yourself. That's what it represents. Like you go and you're like, oh, and you blow on them. You make a wish and then you see, you're amazed at how they just float away. That's your life. Are you gonna blow yourself away, or are you going to provide yourself the opportunity to float in the direction you're supposed to be going in? So that's what this one is. But I still gotta finish her face. But there's the dandelion. And there are new purses, and you see, and they're reversible too. So if you don't want the painting, you can reverse it. And so that's what I did, and it got me like, whew, focused. You like that one? Which one?
I love all three. I love all three of them.
Thank you. And you know, art is not supposed. You're not supposed to be Dali. You're not supposed to be Picasso or anybody else. You're supposed to be your damn self. And you're supposed to get up there and paint whatever it is you need to transfer out of your soul onto it. And some might love it and some might not know what it is. And that's not your business. What is your business is that you're doing something. Now, if you know, people want to get it, that's one thing. I don't redo copies, but for the most part, I wear my own damn shit. Just like I bought a button, I added a string, and voila, I got a necklace that I get so many compliments at. Life is simple. Stop investing in people, places, and things and turn that all inward. And that's what the badass Buddha and I have been talking about. Love yourself to the point where the other day I went out with my son to Sunday, Pistachio here in New Haven. Awesome Turkish coffee shop. So I'm walking in, and the kid, he goes to me, oh my God, I love your outfit. And I said, well, thank you, because I am amazing. And he like got thrown off for a minute. Then he started laughing. He goes, I love you. And we just hit it off. And why? Because you meet people where they're at and they see you for the same way.
Yeah.
In order to be accepted, you must accept. You meet them where they are. Hey, how you doing? You're polite because there's no reason not to be polite, especially to people you don't know. And then if it's not your cup of tea, bid adieu and keep going. But every time you hurt someone, every time you're mean to someone, every time you're rude and stupid, that shit comes back to you. So thank you, Arlene, Audrey, but the second and third, it goes with my outfit, like, of course. Go ahead, badass, because you had
I love what Milagros wrote. See, like Milagros says she's never going back. So she put herself into a direction. She made a decision. Life made a decision kind of for her, but she heard the message and went with it. And if you want to know her story, you can get on, read her badass story too. But it is, or her badass story one, it is really important. Milagros was in the second one. I'm sorry. Terrible. But Milagros made a choice. You know, she was not given a choice. We always have a choice. But she had a few things happen to her that she finally, she said with each time, no more. I'm going to do it my way. I'm going to do it my way.
No mas.
And she hasn't looked back. And that's the beauty of it, is never going back. Catherine Marie put, don't be a victim, be a survivor. Regardless if we fall, get up. Yep.
Every single
Like
time, like the phoenix.
we always fail, but people fail. People fail all the time, even successful people.
Failure is good. It's just failure is success turned inside out.
And you can choose to either fail forward or fail back. Like if you fail forward, like it's like when you fall. That's what they talk about. If you fall, but you fall forward and you're on your hands and knees, you can get up really quickly. But if you fall backwards and let yourself become vulnerable and then you go, oh, I can't do this. It's like, no, get back up, stand back up. Like in the Rocky movie, he got back up.
Yeah.
But that's the reality is that we make the choice. We're either going to learn something from this and then be accountable and say, what did I learn? And this isn't going to stop me. And the interesting thing is once you're on the right path, like once you start moving in the direction that God and the universe want you to go in, things start getting so much easier. Life is simple. We make it complicated.
All day.
Right? Life is simple, but we make it complicated. But when we throw our hands up and say, I'm going to trust in the process, but you're not like just driving the car with not looking. You have vision. Your vision is the vision. You're sitting and you have a plan. You have a purpose. You have an intention. You don't just walk in there and just say, okay, go ahead. I'm just going to trust in the process. Jesus, take the wheel. Jesus is going to guide you and God's going to guide you when you need to be guided. But the cool part is God knew what he was doing when he put us together. Said, listen, you got this. I know how, you're very capable. I created you that way. And I will be there when you need assistance, but you got this. You are resilient. You are capable. You could learn. And when we choose to just sit there and go, no, you guide me. That's when, in the beginning, a lot of times you're guided. And then after a while, it's like, no, listen,
you're on your own. You're
correct.
on your own because you need to fall through. Thank you for saying that. Let me tell you something. My first Camino, I planned nothing. Nothing. All I did was bought my tickets. I didn't even know where I was going to go change money once I got to Spain. I didn't book my train in advance to take me from there to France from Madrid. So I ended up waiting 5 hours to take the bus to Pamplona and then the next morning take another bus to France. But you know what? It happened because I've always gone with the flow. What I learned from that, though, as the badass Buddha was saying, you're going to fall on your back, but you're going to learn how to spring back up. What I learned from that is a little more prepping would make my time smoother. Maybe not so much quicker, but at least I'll have some sense of direction in a whole different country than I did the first time ever going to the country, traveling solo with my backpack and 3 panties. And the thing is that for some things, you're just going to have to charge out there without your shoelaces on and hope those shoes don't slip off. And then sometimes you're going to be well packed. You're going to have your lunch and your snacks packed away, and God forbid anything goes off track from your planned moment. It depends who you are. I'm off the cuff. I like to say, this is what I want to do, and fuck it, let's go. And now I'll be 55 soon, and I want to have a little more planning as far as my travels. My life, I'm really breaking it down to the last hour because this has to work. This is the second half of my one life. There's no third. So I got to make it count. And that's what we want to tell you. When you make a decision, you don't have to fall and trip over your damn feet like we did. We're trying to help many avoid that scenario by believing that you got this in whatever decision you decide to do. But remember, do not stay where you are not respected or valued.
Yeah.
Do not go where you were not invited. Pave your path. You know who you are. You know what you want. Say a prayer. Father God, I don't understand. Give me clarity. Give me direction.
Yes.
Give me something because I'm a little lost right now. But don't go back to where you were mistreated and abused. And do not go somewhere you were not invited. Know yourself enough to value your pure essence in all of its glory and say, all right, fuck that, fuck this, I'm gonna do what I need to do. And sometimes be brass with yourself. And for those who don't, I get shocked every time I curse. Perdona, say. Love yourself.
Trilingual.
Love yourself enough to know where not to return to and where not to go. Love yourself enough to know that you matter to the extent that if you can't return to where you were mistreated and you don't really want to go where you were not invited, take your ass home. Buy a bottle of wine, take your ass home, put your comfortable PJs on, and spend time with yourself and have a notebook and pen by your side. So when those thoughts start coming, because they always come in the worst moment, like when I'm in the shower, I get this grandiose idea to write something for my blog, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna remember. Once I'm drying my ass, I don't. Se me fue. I swear that I have that memory that is gonna click as soon as I get out the shower.
Yes.
So keep a pen and paper. That's or your phone. The notes on my phone is like 500 notes on my phone alone, because sometimes if I am driving, I gotta stop and I gotta write it, or I put in the recording. And
so there you go. There's a gift idea for Gladiator Guru, is to get her a little recording device that's waterproof, that she can hang in her shower when she gets that moment. She just clicks on it and records.
Because we forget, but we'll remember somebody else's song. We'll remember whose concerts coming to town. We'll remember what sneakers are breaking out. We'll remember somebody's quote. We'll remember everybody outside of us, but we don't remember our thoughts. And me is because I'm like, I have so many rooms up here that sometimes all the doors swing open and I'm like, what's going on? I end up whispering. God knows I can't whisper to save my life. Like, I get confused at the shit in my head when they all want to come on at the same time. So you know what? Just learn to self-soothe in moments of frustration, in moments of chaotic thoughts, in moments of, oh my God, this is too much. I don't know what to do. Should I, shouldn't I? You know, you're playing double dutch with no ropes. I just say, learn to say, it's okay, Margarita. It's all right. It's all right. It's all right. What we want to do? We want to paint? Oh my God, what do we have to paint? Oh, we have purses that have been sitting there. Boom. Sometimes you don't need to go buy anything because everything is right there at your fingertips. What going like, hello, I'm over here. Go ahead.
I love what Black Betty wrote. She put, if you don't care to love yourself first, then you won't be able to care for anybody or anything around you. We say this all the time. And the interesting thing is, this is something that children need to be taught, but they have to be taught in a way, not so that they feel entitled. It's to say, listen, it's a beautiful thing to help other people. It's a beautiful thing to be compassionate, empathetic, to provide service to others. And if you intend to do that, you have to still take care of yourself first. And I mean, I wasn't brought up that way. And it took me to adulthood to understand that I can make myself first. And it just makes me a better version of a human, to where I can take care of people better. I'm a better mom. I'm a better sister. I'm a better, partner, friend, daughter, whatever, because then there's no resentment, because, like I was brought up that way, to where you put everybody first, but then you do want to be taken care of, but it's people are supposed to be mind readers, and they're supposed to know what you want and don't ask for anything. That's the most ridiculous advice I have ever learned. Like really, whether it was actually spoken or implied, but either way, it was done that way. And that got me into just some really, really bad relationships, but just bad situations, which I take responsibility for. So now I'm very cut and dry about stuff. And if I don't like it, I'll voice my opinion about it. And if it's not going to work, I'm not upset about it. It's just, I know what's important to me and what I need for myself. I don't necessarily need other people to provide. And that's the difference, And then walking that path, it makes it easier for me to walk my path, because then I don't feel the need to ever have to explain myself to other people. Oh, why are you doing that? Like when Gladiator Guru said about when she was going to do the Camino right after Eric died, aside from people saying to her, why would you're crazy to do that, blah, blah, blah. You know how many people were probably talking junk going, oh, look at her going. He just died. The body's not even cold yet.
Absolutely.
And it's like, who are you to say? Like, you don't understand. What am I supposed to mourn? Like, remember back in the day, like the old Italians, they would wear black for
They
like
still do
years.
those older ones for
They would
40 for the rest of their life.
Right. And it's like, oh God, already. It's like, listen, how long is the period of time to mourn? Listen, I gave myself, I did that with my first husband too, where, when he passed away, I did something a little crazy to win tickets for a concert that I wanted to go to like a month later. And somebody made a comment about it because I ended up getting a picture in the newspaper of all the people that went for the contest. They took the picture of me. And somebody made a comment saying, oh boy, I guess she was over the mourning period of, listen, that was a really horrible relationship. And I was there for the 3 months taking care of him and helping him. And I don't regret it, but it's like, people don't know the bigger picture. Don't judge me. And you know what? I don't really give a rat's ass. It was interesting. I didn't really care, which was uncommon for me back then. But that's how you have to live your life. This is you seeing beyond what you see. Come to this idea. Now you see it. What's beyond that? What is this going to mean for you? If you lose that weight, if you go on these vacations, if you travel to exotic lands, and exotic doesn't mean other countries. You could just travel in the United States. It's some really cool stuff, just do it. What will it open for you? The first year that I took my kids for 3 weeks in the car with the 2 dogs, I didn't know what the hell it was going to be like. I learned from it just like Gladiator Guru did. I spent way too much money because I got a travel agent to help me, and I'm not regretting it, but I learned I can book it myself and keep it simple and keep it cheap and blah, blah, blah. And the first year, my middle daughter hardly talked to me. She was in a really bad headspace. She was miserable. She didn't really want to do much. Every so often, she would be happy with some of the stuff we did. The second year, the next year, last year, we went away for 2 weeks, and she was so much more talkative, and she was more engaging. We had a good time together. And it's like, you learn and you go. And the one thing I learned was I love doing road trips. I love it. Like I used to do it when I was in my 20s. I'm good at it. I don't mind driving. I don't mind. I pack up. I'm like phenomenal with packing the car and every crevice and for everything that we need and having enough space. And I love it. It's not for everybody, not everybody gets something.
Sure as hell ain't for me. I don't even like traveling with kids. I'm gonna travel with dogs too. Fuck that. Let me tell you, I like to travel me and my pocketbook. That's it. I like to just something I don't have to check in and something I don't need to put in an overhead. I want to go with my pocketbook and not be bothered by nobody. And the older I get, the more that's it. So it's yeah. And those trips, they were amazing. And let me tell you something. And it's not for everybody. Like we say, everybody's different. I travel when my kids were little all the time. That's how I know I don't like traveling with kids. Like you need to wipe your own ass when we going out. And so let me tell you that when you decide to do something, go all in. When Carmen came up with the idea to me for this show and we said, let's do it. We didn't know. We didn't go and research 50,000 shows to get an idea of what we were going to do. You know why? Because although it was new for us, we knew who the hell we were. We just didn't acknowledge it back then. But it's been 3 years strong. And you know what? And we show up. And I think showing up for yourself and everything you decide to do, it's going to propel you to continue to do what is best for you. Because if you're doing what is best for you, it trickles down to your children and your family. And that's the best gift that you will leave is memories with your children or your family. Like when you go, what do you want to say? She was a hard worker? Or she was crazy. She just said, let's pack it up. We're going to Tennessee. And everybody had to be packed up in that car. You must decide.
AIS, ass in seat. By the time 10:50 a.m. AIS, ass in seat, or else I leave without you.
And that's it. And do it. No matter what it is, stop living in fear and then judging other people. Stop believing that you don't have no talent, so you envy other people. You know what? Take all that energy that you're misplacing and misusing and put it towards yourself.
Yep.
Because you don't got to do what I do. And if you decide to do what I do, you're never going to do it as good as I do it, because that's what I do. So you must. Huh?
No, you said the way you said it. I'm like, did you get that? I'm just making sure they got that.
Because you know what? Be the real deal. Whether you can do it, whether you're great with it, whether you're meant to match, it doesn't matter. But it's coming from you.
Yeah.
It's something you wanted to do. It's something you had the courage to say, I'm going to try this. And if it fails, oh, well, I won't try that again. That's how I've lived my life. When my husband died and I went to Spain, oh, Maron, you heard all the family backlash. You think I gave a shit? I didn't give a shit. What I did was when I came home, I invited them over for coffee. I showed them the will. And I said, so what's up? I heard there was a lot being said while I was gone. I'm here now. What's up? Crickets. That's how I handle my life. Because I'm going to live my life. I only got one. And I'm in the second half of my season. So I'm going to live it well. So with that, mi gente, thank you for coming on. And we're going to see you Thursday. What's Thursday, badass?
Thursday is, it's a continuation of this conversation, the last conversation for the month. What do you see now? So we want you today to have that list. You should have created this already. We're shitting on you. Have that list of the things that you want to do, that you want to be, that you want to take action with. Now take that list and see beyond that. That's what we're asking you to do today. So if you say you want to lose weight, what does that actually mean? See beyond just the weight loss. Mm-hmm. If you want to go traveling, if you want a new job, if you want to go back to school, if you want to make more money, if you want to do the renovations on the house, if you want to sell your house and move out of state, see beyond that. What would that look like to you? And if you say, well, I can't, I don't know. Like if I move, what's it going to be like? I have to meet new people. I have all my friends here. We live in a technological age. What the hell's the difference that if your friends are next to you or not? And give them a place to visit. You know how many people love to say, oh my God, you're moving to Myrtle Beach? I've always wanted to go there. Shit, I'm going to come visit you. And now instead of seeing them sporadically, they come for a whole weekend and you have a whole full weekend with this person and it's quality time. This is what we're talking about, seeing beyond. Then on Thursday, it is about, what do you see now? What is it that you see now? And then we're going to take that and we're going to take action on all those things. So this is it. You have the rest of this month and the weekend to get ready for next Tuesday's show, which starts with taking action. But you have got to have your list ready. You've got to have the clarity, that vision, so that you can start taking action. And if we are not, listen, the taking action piece for August is accountability. We are giving you the kick in the ass and you're giving us the kick in the ass to do what we need to do. And so if it's not enough for that month of August for us to say, did you do it? Did you do it? Did you make the call? Did you take the class? Did you go on the trip? Did you do this? Did you book that? Then it's not going to be, then you have the rest of the year to figure it out for yourself. But we're helping you. That's what we're trying to do.
Yeah. We're helping you to help yourself. So get off your ass, dust yourself off, figure out what it is you want. If you cannot lose weight because your body is holding trauma that you have not faced yet, that's a whole other thing. But I'm a life coach in that department, so you can call. But that was mine. I'm only saying that because that was mine for many years. The trauma I held, the safety, the fat around my body kept me. So it's beyond. You know, it's what she says, seeing beyond what you see. Seeing beyond what you see. I couldn't have said that better. It's true. Look at it. Study it. Feel the words. Soak in the bathtub. See, what am I seeing beyond what I see? What do I need to see beyond what I see? It'll come to you. Until Thursday, mi gente.
And from the Badass Buddha, remember, be you, be real, and be extraordinary.
And from the Gladiator Guru, remember to breathe in the beauty and breathe out the bullshit. Namaste.